Breaking news.
Drama! Yes, drama when it comes to Manchester United.
It's all kicking off.
Man United won't break the bank for him. And if Man United won't break the bank for him, they've got other targets. What's going on, guys? Good morning. Welcome back to United View. Hope everyone is doing very well. Welcome back to another edition of the Transfer View. And Bryan Mbeumo is reportedly set for a medical next week. Yes, according to new reports, the Cameroonian international is finally set for a medical next week at Carrington. And I know what you're going to say, guys, and I feel it too. You know, this has been very drawn out. It has been very, we've waited days for this, weeks, months. It's been long, isn't it? It's been very, very long, and it has been drawn out, and it's become not a saga, because a saga implies lots of twists and turns. It tried to be a saga with the Spurs element of it, and Spurs being interested in this, that, and the other. But we're nearly there, folks. We're nearly there. The finish line is in sight to sign Bryan Mbeumo. And I think what shouldn't be lost in all of it, in the sort of patience that collectively we're having to do, and frustration also, because it's like, all right, just get them through the door and move on to the next one. We've got so much to do. What shouldn't be lost for Bryan Mbeumo is that this is a good signing. This is a good bit of business for Manchester United. Matheus Cunha, that's done. Bryan Mbeumo, nearly there. Next week, once we get into July, PSR windows and all that kind of stuff, but seemingly is going to be in for the beginning of pre-season. That begins on July 7th. They want Bryan Mbeumo there, day one, to be in the Manchester United squad and with Ruben Amorim for pre-season. If you'd have said when pre-season starts on July 7th, you've got Mbeumo and Cunha through the door, will you take that? I'd say yes. We need a lot more. Hopefully, we're going to get more. But it's a good start. And I know that we draw things out, things get drawn out, but it shouldn't be lost that this is a good signing. So I'm still here for the Bryan Mbeumo signing and a medical next week. This is the Transfer View, where we talk all things Manchester United, talk all things transfers. How is everybody doing? Yes, it's a solo and show this morning, and it's going to be a good one already. We're already over 100 likes, which is fantastic. That's how you know. That's how you know it's going to be a good show. So if you haven't already, click the like button. And be sure to subscribe. Yes, Skiliano. Hey, yeah. I love the reference there. Skiliano says, can you not talk about signings, please, Owen? This is the Transfer View, where we talk about nothing. We don't talk about signings. It's actually a very ironic title, isn't it? It's a very ironic title because we're actually not allowed to talk about transfers on the Transfer View, which means it's going to be a long hour. To be honest, very long. Oh, actually, that was the other one. I'm not allowed to be sarcastic. Someone had a go at me for being sarcastic the other day. Said, "Oh, please sound interested. Otherwise, and don't say add-ons." There's all these rules. I never knew. You would have thought after all of these years, I would have known. More sarcasm. Stop it. Start the show again. Start the show again. So we predicted yesterday for the Here We Go, didn't we, for Bryan Mbeumo? We didn't get it. It's still coming. It's still coming. It's still going to happen. Maybe today, tomorrow. But this deal is going to happen, and that's positive. That's positive indeed. What else everyone said in the chat? Let's have some fun this morning. Yeah, let's have some fun. Tabrez in the chat says morning, Mr. Owen. Yeah. Good morning, Tabs. Good morning to you. Mac Matt, one of our members, says top of the morning, Owen, with a cup of coffee and the sun shining. It's not really shining for me this morning, the sun. It's a bit overcast, a bit cloudy, a bit grey. But I did see, and this will make those happy that we're not talking about transfers. I did see that, is it next week, right at the end of the month, it's meant to be the hottest June day on record in the UK, I think. Not so much where I am, but I know certainly down south, if you're down south in the UK, it's meant to be, I want to say Monday. Monday, it's meant to be one of the hottest days ever in June. So, get your fans back out. That's what I say, mate. So, yeah. Araya says, big up everyone. I can see Courtstar saying the weather is nice in London. Yeah. We're having a good time. Good Friday. Yeah. It's not actually Good Friday. Obviously, that was in April. It's June. Let's get on. Let's talk about the news. I know, brace yourselves. Brian Mbeumo, yes. According to Alex Crook and Ben Jacobs, Brian Mbeumo is set for his medical. It reportedly is expected to take place next week. Haven't said when, haven't said where, but it's expected to take place next week. Fabrizio Romano, I'm not going to do the whole impression, but he said Manchester United hope to get the deal done within the next week. At the moment, there is still some work to do on the structure of the deal, structure of the wait for it, add-ons, when to activate to pay these add-ons. There are details of this total package and structure to be clarified with Brian Mbeumo to go to Manchester United. The club remains optimistic. Conversations will continue over the next days and over the weekend with Manchester United and Brentford. I think basically everyone's now reporting, aren't they, that the sort of general framework of this deal has been agreed. The initial fee portion of the deal has been agreed. It's now just the add-ons to figure out, which are not that much. Sully Talks also said Brian Mbeumo is expected to undergo his Manchester United medical and sign his contract next week. United are planning for Mbeumo to fly to Manchester from his holiday with only final formalities of the deal left now. So there's nothing to worry about in terms of this deal. I mean, look, I saw Ben Jacobs and Alex Crook get some criticism because, to be honest, it's a bit of a strange one, isn't it? You know, transfer season, it brings out the best and worst of people because obviously there is a lot of fake news out there. We're going to talk about it actually in a bit with Victor Gyokeres because, I mean, if you thought the Brian Mbeumo one was a saga, which it really hasn't been, it's just, you know, we found out about it early. Ornstein broke the news early that he only wanted to go to United early. So I think that maybe, you know, we don't usually hear of that early. So we just, since day dot, we've known, and Mbeumo's coming to United, so it's felt very drawn out. Whereas this Gyokeres stuff, now that is a saga. That is a legitimate saga of he's given priority to Arsenal, but he's not rejected United, and still another club could sweep in, or maybe a Saudi club wants to get him, and he's never going back to Sporting, not even going to go on pre-season. He's got to go on strike, and the agent and the president, and I mean, that is a real saga. This, not so much. And we're also going to be talking about goalkeeper stuff a little bit later on. But with the Mbeumo one, like I said, it's felt very drawn out because we've known since day one that he only wants United, and it's given United that freedom to negotiate even more. But it is going to happen. You know, it's going to happen. And like I said, transfer season does bring the best and the worst, I think, out of people because Alex Crook and Ben Jacobs were the first to report that the second bid had gone in. Now, obviously, because specifically Ben Jacobs had done that before and said, second bid's got in. And we were like, yes, second bid's got in. This is exciting. I'm ready for this. Yes, good. And then we did a whole show. We did a Trinity. It was a Friday. We did a Trinity, and like the last minute of the show was slight amendment. It hasn't gone in, and it didn't go in for another week. So it was kind of like the boy cried wolf. When he reported that the second bid had actually gone in, everyone went, well, I'll believe that when I see it. And then they saw it and they went, oh, I believe it. And that has happened a couple of times in this window so far, not just on Mbeumo, but for other deals as well, like with the Gyokeres one, giving priority to Arsenal. And it was like, well, until Fabrizio Ornstein says it, not true. And then they came out and said it. So when it pertains to this story, certainly, Ben Jacobs and Alex Crook have got it pretty much spot on, apart from that one amendment period. But they were right about the first bid. They were right about the second bid. So I would say in terms of the record so far, I tend to lean towards believing that the medical is going to happen next week. And you've also got other people saying the medical is going to happen next week. And the deal is largely done at this point, isn't it? Like I said, it's only the initial part of it the initial part of it's been done. They're happy with that, which I think is 55. They say is 55, and then it's the add-ons that they're looking to figure out, and it's going to be around £62.5 million, the same amount that Manchester United purchased Matheus Cunha for, which is what Brentford wanted, but Manchester United I think are also comfortable with. And like I said at the start, it's two very good. I'm very happy with that. There's still. This is also the other part, isn't it? Because there is so much to do for United this summer, and we look at that team that finished 15th in the Premier League last season, with just complete disdain and disgust. And we're like, oh. And there's an argument to be made for near enough every player, bar one or two, could go, should go, needs to be replaced with someone new. You do not get greedy, but you see Matheus Cunha come in and you see Bryan Mbeumo come in and you go, they're great. We need more. If we start the season with just those two, yes, okay, we're better for having those players because they will make a difference. But we need more. So there is this element of sort of not really having that much patience when patience is required, I suppose. But if you do look at it just in context and go, right, start of the preseason, not even the tour or anything like that, because there's still a lot of time to go to a tour. When's the first tour match? Is that the 20th of July? I think it is. When's the first tour match? I've got so many dates in my head at the moment because of this, and I've got wrestling events coming up. It's a very busy, next 2 months. So the first 27th of July is the first tour match. Obviously, the first preseason match is the 19th of July. But if we're going to talk about tour, first tour match is the 27th of July. It's a month today. There you go. A month today. 4 weeks. And if you said to me in the next 4 weeks, Manchester United don't sign anyone else or get very close to signing someone else, that will be very alarming and that will be very disappointing. I think that if you'd have offered me pre-season training begins on the 7th of July and you will have Cunha and Mbeumo through the door, I'd go, yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I like that. That's a very good starting point for hopefully a good summer. I'll take that. That's very good. I mean, you look at their records last season in the Premier League, you're adding in goals. You're adding in two players that aren't project players. They're not players early 20s. They're not players that they're teenagers and we're going, yeah, they're rough around the edges, but they'll get there. No, you're looking at Cunha and Mbeumo to make a difference immediately. And that will be the pressure on them. If they don't, I say immediately, I'm not expecting straight in 25, 30 goals apiece and be like, well, if you don't hit those numbers, you're shit. There might be adaptation, but you're bringing in players that they've played in the Premier League for several seasons. They're mid-20s. They're ready to make the next step up in their career. They're hopefully ready to play with extra pressure of playing for a big club like Manchester United. These should be into the first team, improving the team. So they're two very good signings. They add in goals, they add in creativity, they add in assists, which we need. It's not everything we need. We are not going to be totally fixed because we've signed Mbeumo and Cunha, and that's not to put down those signings. We need more. But I think on this pace, this is good so far. But this is the other part of it, is that I think we're now entering the nitty-gritty, aren't we? Let's be honest. We're now entering the nitty-gritty of, okay, these were the two signings that you could sign without moving players on. You budgeted for these. This is your transfer budget for the summer. You've spent it now. Everything else you do is dependent on sales. Everything else you do, allegedly, I mean, you never know with Manchester United when it comes to what their actual budget is, because as we've seen a million times when it comes to the media and the press, they don't have a clue about Manchester United financially, because Man United are struggling for PSR. Next thing you know, they're actually fine. PSR, because it's not even Man United, it's a different company. Or they go, Man United don't even have any money to spend on transfers this summer. Next thing you know, they spend like 120 million. You go, oh, where did that come from? Man United, they're just, Bryan Mbeumo, they're giving £250,000 a week. That's why they really signed him. Then it comes out, actually, it's about 150. There's quite a few players on United that are earning more than him, and it's the same what Matheus Cunha is going to be on, sort of around 150. So who knows what Man United's actual budget really is? But you would think, logically, that now it's going to be, right, who can you move on? Those players that you've earmarked to move on, can you actually follow through and make them happen? So Jadon Sancho, you hear the stuff about Turkey, you hear the stuff about Italy, you hear the stuff about Germany. Are they real? Is that even going to happen? Is he willing to drop wages to go to Italy? Is he willing to, keep how it is but play in Turkey? Like, what is he willing to do? And can you make that one finally happen? Can you finally, after how long has it been? A couple of years? 2 years. I mean, he fell out with Ten Hag, September 23. So we're nearing on 2 years. Talk about sagas. 2 years of a saga. Can you actually put an end to that? Can you put an end to that and just finish it? And we don't have to deal with that anymore. Marcus Rashford. He only wants Barca. Makes it a bit more difficult. Okay. Can you talk to Barca and be like, okay, do a loan with an obligation to buy? Can you talk to Barca and say, right, well, tell him that you're not going to do this deal, so that he wakes up and then you move on to something else? Garnacho, he wants to stay in the Prem. Can you move him on and also get value for money when it comes to him? He's a 20-year-old, pure profit. If roles were reversed and we were going after a 20-year-old that played over 100 games in the Premier League and scored goals in finals, we'd be charged an arm and a leg. So why don't we do that to them? Start off high and then we can negotiate down to a little bit low, but let's not have the piss taken out of us. And then with those if you can get Rashford and Garnacho, just from a pure profit point of view, off the books, then you've really got some money there to play around with. And that's when you start talking about, okay, striker, that's the next priority. Goalkeeper. Oh my goodness me, we need a new goalkeeper. We're going to be talking about goalkeeper later on. Midfielder, as Flex likes to say, the sort of technical ceiling of our team is so low. It's not. I don't even know how to describe it. What's a house that's like its ceiling is that much off the ground? I don't know. Something that mice live in. I mean, do they even exist? It's not even. It's like one of those tiny sort of miniature houses that people paint or whatever. It's not even a doll's house. Doll's house can be big. I don't even know. I don't even know what analogy I'm looking for. But because our team can't pass the ball, they genuinely can't. So there's still a lot of work to do, clearly. But in terms of a start, I'm happy with it. In terms of the prices, Birdhouse, there you go, Kristen. I like that. Some can be big though, but I suppose you would be more traditional ones. I was thinking about putting them in the garden. If anyone has birdhouses in the garden, right? And this is when we're going to be going back to garden view here, which has been a recurring theme recently. But if anyone's got like the sort of small ones that they've got in the garden, I was thinking of getting one because I do have quite a lot of birds near me in the vicinity. Pause. I get that. Do they actually? The problem is, do they attract a lot of birds? Does it make it more of an issue, or is it just a nice thing to look at? That's my concern. But then I'm saying that out loud. I've just said there's lots of birds anyway. They wake me up in the morning. They're very loud. So maybe I will. Maybe I will get one. I do like looking at them, when they're about and they're walking around in the garden. So yeah, we'll have a look. I'll keep you guys up. I'll keep you guys updated. Yeah. I mean, it's just. Is it just going to be a lot? They're going to basically they're going to be shitting all over the garden. That's kind of my. I don't mind one or two. I just mean like, is it going to be everywhere? And you go, bloody hell, it's everywhere. But yeah, thinking about it. Yeah, thinking about it. All Elite says City and Liverpool aren't messing around this summer. They're doing what we used to do: upgrade the team and don't look back. Well, I saw City play last night against, was it Juventus in the Club World Cup? I think it was 5-2, wasn't it? Yeah, 5-2. I didn't watch the game. I've really lost the interest in the Club World. That was my concern as well, Neil. Does it attract rats? That was my also. What does it? No, I don't want it. That was a concern of mine. If it was going to because the birds would come in and peck at it, and then it's on the floor, isn't it? So then that brings in the other wildlife. That was a concern of mine. So I'm not sure. Yeah, it does. But sorry, birds. I mean, you're around here anyway, but we can't be doing with that. Not having it. No chance. Rats. Oof. Ugh. Oof.
Oh no!
Yeah, but yeah, I did see the stuff about City and Liverpool. My only hope with the way Liverpool move and the way City are moving, and that is it has to, I think, just be kind of hope, is, sometimes when teams do too much business and for whatever reason it just doesn't gel, and you go, oh, I tell you what, look how they're moving. Look how those teams are moving. And then you watch them play and you just go, oh, this just not worked. Suddenly those players that they brought in that we thought were good were like, oh, they're not actually that good. Oh, Frimpong, not at Leverkusen, isn't all that. Or Gyokeres, we thought he was going to be that at Bournemouth, actually. Didn't really. Florian Wirtz, I don't know about that. Same with City. Oh, yeah, Cherky and Reinders, they just didn't really adapt to the Premier League, So that's the only hope you've got. It could go wrong. It could go wrong. But I don't know. Yeah. It looks like the City and Liverpool feud is back on. But at the moment, that's way above our pay grade, isn't it? It's way above our pay grade. Our thing isn't even about getting into Europe, is it? Our thing's just about, can we just win some games? Can we win consecutive games? Bloody United Strand. Can we get him a haircut? Seriously. Can we win 5 games in a row? You can't do this for another season. Have you seen him at the moment? He's storing things in there. It's getting ridiculous. So, yeah, forget Europe or anything like that. Unai Emery.
Europe.
Yeah, we need to just focus on winning some matches, scoring some goals. That's what we need to do. So, and hopefully that starts with Brian and Mbeumo. So medical coming next week for that. We've got over 1,200 people watching. We're nearly at 300 likes. We're 3 away from 300 likes, actually. Let's see if we can get to 500, which would be fantastic for a Friday, solo and show. A couple of programming notes. See my channel there. It just moved. But I'm going to be live on my channel at 5:45 this evening. I'm going to be live on my channel, 5:45. We're watching SmackDown in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. I'll be here, not in Saudi. And because it's the final SmackDown for Night of Champions. And then tomorrow, I'm going to be doing Night of Champions as well. So we're going to have a lot of live streaming going on there. Also, another programming note, if you haven't been aware of it, you've been away from the channel recently or what have you, Trinity, not Red Carpet, Trinity live at 4. Yes, doesn't really rhyme. Live at 4. Once again, we're going to be live 4 o'clock. Flex, KG, and myself will be live for the Trinity. Right there. Every Friday, it's live there. So, yes. So be sure to join us live for that one too. And we're over 300 likes. We're on our way to 500 now, which is excellent. Couple of super chats. Ray Carl Brown says, do you know what, Ray? I don't know why, because Flex and me always do this. We always say Ray Carl Brown, and then we just never say the Amory, and it's a hyphenated. So we should either just go Ray or Ray Carl, but shouldn't go Ray Carl Brown. That doesn't make any sense, does it? I've always thought that, but I always say it. So I just go Ray. A big up Ray. He's been a member for 23 months. Says, yes, let's go Mbeumo. This sounds great. And Chalaboy Comics says, we haven't reinforced, we've replaced. Long way to go. Yes, there is a long way to go, certainly. And we need more signings. Definitely need more signings, indeed, in the summer. It's a good start, but it shouldn't be the end. Shouldn't be the end, certainly. Right, let's talk about Victor Gyokeres. Now, this is a saga. This truly is a saga. As show says, Owen has the wrestling channel. Never knew that. No, people never know. Yeah, I never bring it up, and it's very rarely, seldom brought up here on the channel. Very rarely. So this is a weird one with Gyokeres. So there was a story going around. I'll get it up on the screen. The Daily Mirror said this, and I think they were citing Portuguese reports from what's the outlet called? Ebola. And I know you're going to say no, and you're thinking of the disease. Ebola. It's basically saying that Manchester United were back in pole position to sign Victor Gyokeres. He's ready to reunite with his former manager, Ruben Amorim. And yes, he had given priority to Arsenal, but now he's decided that he's going to, he wants Man United. That's what it was going to be. And effectively, they're sort of citing Ebola wrong. So again, the sort of mistranslated version of this was that with Arsenal prioritizing Benjamin Šeško, Victor Gyokeres has given the green light to listen to what Ruben Amorim has to offer. Now, shout out Sport Witness. When it comes to foreign newspapers or foreign outlets, foreign journalists, really, really good account. Really good account to follow, because basically they'll cite the actual website, the actual article itself that's in the native language, and translate it. Or sometimes it's very difficult to figure out what, if you're looking for a transfer in Italy, what Italian media are saying, or in this case, what Portuguese media are saying. Sport Witness is really good. So it's well worth a follow. So basically he said, Ebola has not reported this. They simply told a Portuguese audience, the Daily Star, and told a Portuguese audience, the Daily Star and the Mirror have reported this. So basically, that's not what they've said. That's not what they've said. And now it's just basically it is what it was. There's I guess there's no real change in that one, but it is a saga. I mean, talk about an absolute circus. And that one is, you do grow tiresome of that, and not to the point where I'm like, let's not sign him. No, I'm not doing that. Like Flex and myself spoke about yesterday. We're not in the position, I think, to be turning down Victor Gyokeres. If Victor Gyokeres decides tomorrow, all right, yeah, I'm going to Man United, that's where I want to go, I'd be thrilled. Victor Gyokeres is a goal scorer. He fits in with that profile of player that I was just talking about a few minutes ago. He's ready to go right now. There's no such thing as guaranteed goals. I get that. You look at the signings of people like Shevchenko to Chelsea or Torres to Chelsea. You thought it's going to work, it's guaranteed to work. Sometimes they don't, and every transfer is a risk. But you feel like with his record in Portugal last 2 seasons, even his record when he was in England at Coventry, whether it's a detriment to the team or not, or if he fits into the system or not, he puts the ball in the back of the net. That's what he does. He is a lethal goal scorer. So if he decides that he wants to join Manchester United after the season we've had, when we are going to struggle to attract the top players across Europe, he says, I want to go to that team that finished 15th. Fantastic. Great. Will it be a complicated and protracted saga? You feel like it will, just because everything has been surrounding him so far this summer. And this is, Dev mentioned it on a previous episode of The Red Carpet. We spoke about this yesterday too. The moment that Gyokeres gets his deal, wherever he goes, because he's not going to stay at Sporting, wherever he lands this summer, I would say, thank you very much, sign the contract, take a picture with the shirt. And then I would say to the agent, okay, right, you've got me the move. Now it's time to part ways and go find someone else, because the mess surrounding this transfer, it's just ridiculous. And this was meant to be one of the more straightforward deals of the summer, not necessarily just for us, but for whoever wanted him, because there was this, he's got a release clause, but he's got the gentleman's agreement. So all basically has to happen is Gyokeres has to decide where he wants to go, and then the club just has to pay the gentleman's agreement price, then he'll go. And now it's, there was no such thing as the gentleman's agreement. You're not going to have to pay the release clause, because no one's going to pay the release clause. He's given priority to the Arsenal, but he didn't actually reject Man United though. And Arsenal want Šeško. Are they even in for Gyokeres? And Saudi club comes in, but he doesn't want to go to Saudi, and this, that, and the other. And it's just turned into a bit of a mess. But like Flex said, sloppy seconds, I don't really care. We need a striker. We need a 9. The only worry I have with it is that it just shouldn't be, and I don't think this is the case. It shouldn't be all our hopes are pinned on getting Gyokeres and we don't get him, and then we don't have any other targets. I do think there are other targets out there, but this is also other thing to consider is it is still early. This version of the window has only been open, a couple of weeks at this point. Having that first window of clubs that were in the Club World Cup and other clubs doing really, really early business, almost atypically early business, has kind of, I think, warped the perception of the market somewhat. Because even for United, like historically, the fact that likely we're going to have 2 marquee signings through the door, ready to go day one of pre-season, that just doesn't really happen with us. Like it just doesn't. we've already moved very, very fast for Manchester United. So, and that doesn't give any excuse to slow down, by the way. That doesn't mean, so we can actually drag our heels now and it doesn't really matter. But yeah, there's still plenty of time to get a striker. Still plenty of time to get a striker. I suppose the concern also is that there's only select options you think would be available. I always say at every transfer window, there's a pool of players that everyone knows are available and everyone's sort of picking from. And Victor Gyokeres is one of them. And if he did go to another Premier League club and he did well, be like, why didn't we get that? But we made that situation a lot more difficult for ourselves when we didn't win the Europa League. And it's always been a key thing that he wants the Champions League. And frankly, the fact that we're even talking about Gyokeres, the fact that we're even talking about Gyokeres to United, I really didn't think once that we lost Europa League final, once it was confirmed, not in Champions League next season, no European football at all. I was like, well, okay, we're not getting Gyokeres. That's not happening because he wants Champions League. We can't do that. There are 5 teams in the Premier League that could give him Champions League. We're not one of them, so we're not getting Victor Gyokeres. So the fact that it even still is a possibility, I'm like, wow, I didn't necessarily see that coming. But we need a striker. We do. And with Cunha and Mbeumo, goals in the team, assists in the team, creativity in the team, all for that. But that burden shouldn't fall on them. That burden shouldn't be, sorry, guys, we were aiming for a striker, didn't get him. We'll play Xerxes there. He can be a false 9. You two, you've got to get all the goals for us this season. No, we still need more firepower. We still need more options. And if we can get a striker in, that's when I look at Højlund and go, right, Inter Milan, are you really keen on him? Because you can have him. Inter, and I think it makes that decision easier too, because at the moment, reportedly United are like, well, we'd be open to selling him, but it'd have to be a permanent transfer. Inter reportedly are like, well, it'd have to be a loan with an option or an obligation to buy. So we'll kind of be looking at that. If we manage to get a striker through the door, then it's okay. As long as we get Højlund out and option or obligation, no problem. So striker still massive priority. I mean, that for me after the Mbeumo one has to be the next signing. Doesn't necessarily have to be Gyokeres. And who knows what's going to happen with Victor Gyokeres. And I think whatever the next development is with him, I do think there is going to be this, again, boy who cried wolf sort of thing. If we put it this way, if over the weekend a report comes out and goes, Victor Gyokeres has decided, reports from Portugal say Victor Gyokeres has decided now that he's going to go to United, I think people would go, yeah, of course he has. Yeah, and I've got 2 heads. And you go, but you don't have 2 heads, though. And they go, yes, that's what I'm saying. He hasn't. That sarcasm again. I know people don't like it. But so there is going to be that. I think there is this element with this story that it's going to be like until Ornstein, Fabrizio, or someone like that actually reports a bid has gone in for Victor Gyokeres from Club X. That's when people are like, right, I believe it. I actually believe it now. Until then, there's going to be a lot of skepticism, if you will. But we need a striker, certainly. Need a striker. We're 1 like away from 400 likes, folks. That means we're just 101 likes away from 500 likes. So if you haven't already, click the like button. See if we can get to 500 likes. Also, be sure to subscribe. Big summer of Man United content coming up, folks. Ooh, as we spoke about, first game of the pre-season tour of the US is a month away today. Yes. Isn't it funny how quickly all that kind of stuff comes around? It is.
Well, it's Groundhog Day. Again?
I think this will be our third tour? There was first one was Australia, Thailand. Then it was USA. Second. Was it? Then it was USA. So fourth, I think. Yeah. We played Arsenal. Yeah, fourth. Yeah. But pre-season tour. I was struggling for a second there. Yes. So it's coming up in a month's time. Of course, they'll be out there much earlier than the 27th. They'll be there a few days beforehand. On top of that, we will also be at the game in Sweden playing Leeds. Flex. I don't know if KG. I think all three of them, Flex, KG, and Josh, are going to be in Sweden for the game against Leeds. So we're going to have full coverage of that. The Asylum will return, and we'll have the pre-season match views. Maybe I'll have some guests on this time if they're willing to stay up late. That's the other problem as well. Staying up late. I mean, I was built for it, and that's where the wrestling stuff comes in handy. And in one of the games in the summer tour, you can see it there on the right hand side. On one of the games on the tour, it's the same night as SummerSlam Night 2. I'm going to be doing 2 streams at the same time. It's going to be special. Asylum and then Wrestling News 365 thing. I might even treat myself to the Man United WWE Championship by that point. Who knows? Who knows? That's maybe what we'll do. But yes, tour is coming up. It's coming soon, as you can see right there, and it's brought to you by Oxford Natural by Gowing Live. You can get optimized if you follow Just Josh Media, Graphics Guru, Visual Ninja. I tell you what, he's been optimized too. He's got a 6-pack. Josh's got abs. He does. It's true. True. He was on his Instagram story yesterday. I think he's on holiday and he's still got the workout bug, which is excellent. And got abdominals, optimize, 6-pack Josh. Unbelievable. Shout out to him. I sent him a message. I said, unbelievable work, unbelievable effort. So yes, you can look just like Just Josh Media, Graphics Guru, Visual Ninja. And you can find all the information, as always, at Oxford Natural's website and on all the views that they videos that they bring to you, including the likes of the one with KG versus Dr. Andre. Okay, you slipped up. Okay, but you can, probably just lose a little bit of that adipose. It's the adipose fat tissue. Okay, that you can possibly lose, and you just need to reduce your calorie intake. And maybe look to exercise. I would say, optimal amount of time is just 3, 4, 5 times a week. But as long as you keep a healthy lifestyle, okay, that's really it's all in moderation. You can have unhealthy foods, but as long as it's in moderation, it's never going to work with us again if I keep this impression up. But yes, go check that out and get good sleep as well. Imran, you're right. Absolutely. Yes, get good sleep. I've myself have recently bought a new bed. I bought a new bed that is going to be arriving in July, and I'm very excited for the new bed. It's going to be good. It's massive. It's unnecessarily big. It's a Super King. I don't know. I just wanted, if you're ever shopping for a bed, if you're ever shopping for a bed, I don't know about you. I just get carried away. Speaking of add-ons, you're looking at it and you start mattress first. It's got to be mattress first. From the mattress and build it out. So you go, right, I want memory foam. I'm looking at all of the, how many springs it's got, and it's like more springs the better. And if you want firm, medium, or what have you. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I looked at the mattress. I went, okay, I'll get that one. And then I'm like, okay, so what's your bed going to be? Is it going to be a divan? Is that how you say it? Divan? I was like, oh, yeah, okay. And then, do you want to have the drawers on it? Oh, yeah, it's good. It's always good to have storage, isn't it? So it's always good to have storage, I don't know, okay, a couple of them. They go, do you want a headboard? Yeah, go and get a headboard. Go. Get a headboard, yeah, no problem. Then you're like, do you want a mattress topper? And you go, why would I need one of them? And then it's like, well, they're good for keeping you cool in the night. It's extra comfort, and it can help regulate sort of temperature as well. So it's like, yeah, I'm a very easy customer. Yeah, thank you. So yeah, I'm very excited about that. Comes next month. I'll let you guys know how it goes. FDZ is just with the contribution. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the contribution. I appreciate that. So yeah, that was the Gyokeres stuff, and also a lot of love for mattress toppers. I've never had one, so I'm excited about that. Yeah, I'm very excited. Hopefully it'll be good. I'm very excited for it. That's the latest for Gyokeres. A little bit on goalkeepers as well, folks. My favourite subject. This was something that came up last Friday. We actually spoke about it on the Trinity. It was this was the one where it was KG, James, and myself saying that Manchester United want to find a club to sell Andre Onana to and have £34 million ready to sign Atalanta goalkeeper Marco Carnesecchi, I think it's how you would say it. Contacts took place with Atalanta today, and they were asking for a slightly higher fee. Now, that is very much...
Well, it's Groundhog Day. Again?
Atalanta, don't you fucking dare. That's what I would say. After the Rasmus Højlund debacle of that fee, remember when we earmarked to spend £40 million on Rasmus Højlund? Somehow that escalated to 72. And we're still dealing with the after effects of that one. So, no. Absolutely not. I'm sure they want a higher fee. They'll see Man United. Who's interested? Man United. Remember what we did last time? Get Morlins. 70 million. No, 2 secs. Yeah, he only scored 9 goals. He only scored 9 goals. Yeah, okay. Well, we're interested. How much? He's only worth like 10 million. 30, 35? They've said they've got 35. Yeah, we'll go with that. We'll have 50. I know. We're giving him new cheap 50 million. 50 million, something like that, okay? 50, maybe, God, come on. So, yeah, I don't know about that. I can't say whether or not he's any good. I've never seen him play. Well, I probably have. But I was never paying attention. Atalanta played Arsenal in the Champions League last season, didn't they? And they won Europa League final. So, but I couldn't tell you anything about him specifically. We need a new goalkeeper. I'm fairly certain he'll probably be an upgrade on Andre Onana because who wouldn't be? At this point, I saw big up Stephen Houser. I saw a clip of him on Stretford Paddock on social media going, I think he was sort of saying, I think people have overblown how bad Andre Onana has been for Manchester United. And I was like, I don't think people have talked about it enough, to be honest with you. I don't think they've talked about it enough, how shit Andre Onana has been for Manchester United. Some of those goalkeeping mistakes have been horrific, absolutely horrendous. So we need an upgrade. Near enough anyone, not obviously completely anyone, but near enough anyone would be an upgrade on him. It doesn't have to be a goalkeeper that's 30, 35, 40 million pounds or anything crazy like that. It can be a goalkeeper that's 10 million. It can be a goalkeeper that's 15. The market's pretty good for goalkeepers on the cheap at this point. We've already seen, keepers like, I always go back to Kelleher, who was a fantastic number 2 for Liverpool, 18 million. Flecken went to Leverkusen for around sort of 10 million. I think that was even euros. No, 35 million or 34 million. Absolutely not. Absolutely no way. But we need a goalkeeper. And for all of the talk about how much money we do or we don't have to spend, if it does come to a point whereby it's, we would get a goalkeeper, but it'd be too expensive. Emi Martinez, 40 million. No. Why have these goalkeepers? Why have these goalkeepers suddenly started to get expensive? And why are we only going for goalkeepers that are going to cost us 40 or 35 million pounds? Go find a keeper that's 15 million. Go even if it's Van der Sar-esque. If there was a goalkeeper, an experienced goalkeeper out there, and he was like 35, but you go, you know what, for a season or two, and he's going to cost me 2 million, not what he used to be, but still solid and playing at a decent level. I'll go get him. No. You know what I mean? Go get him. There are plenty of goalkeepers available. Go and find them. They don't have to be this 35, 40 million pound valuation. It's just completely unnecessary. So, yeah, I don't know whether or not this one's going to happen. Even the money we could get for Andre Onana when he was linked to the move to Monaco, but I think because of his book value, they were saying United might have to get 30 odd million for him. even if we got 30 million, I'd still be going to United. You don't have to spend all of that on his replacement, by the way. You can still get a good keeper for 20. Or if you are going to be, looking for Diogo Costa, which I know he is expensive, I think he has a release clause, and you can sell Onana for a lot of money. That would be there's only a couple of goalkeepers out there that I would say United would be justified in spending sort of 40 plus million on. And if that's just not in the stars at this point, then don't. But that's not an excuse not to get a keeper. KG was right all those months ago when he said that the goalkeeping position is absolutely a priority. And what I don't want to hear, and I'm already a bit worried about this, I don't want to have the narrative be by the time the window shuts, basically, well, if you look at last season, the problem wasn't necessarily conceding the goals. It was scoring the goals because, yes, he made errors and, yes, we conceded goals, but we lost a lot of games 1-0. And if we had goal scorers, we would have won those games 2-1 and 3-1. So actually, it takes the pressure off the defense. Actually, it takes the pressure off the goalkeeper. No, that just bails out Andre Onana for having 5 or 6 mistakes in him per season at a minimum. Because if he stays as Man United's number one keeper, when the ball goes through his legs or through his hands next season, I don't even know if we can be angry at him anymore. I think the frustration would just have to shift to Jason Wilcox, to Omar Barada, to Christopher Vivald, to Ineos, because be like, well, the solution was there. You knew this. You knew you had to change him. And you didn't, and now he's starting the games again. Like he is going to put the ball in the back of the net, and even those ones that aren't outright a mistake. This is the other part. Even the ones with Onana that aren't outright a mistake, which you go, that one could be on the defender, or it's a bit difficult. Another goalkeeper saves them. That's also the other point. That goal in the Europa League final. Someone brought it up there in the chat. If another goalkeeper's in there, I don't think that goes in. It doesn't. Yes, you can say about Luke Shaw and Dorgu not marking the defender and the attacker rather and all that, but it's still like Onana, he's behind the line and diving into the side netting as opposed to being in front of it and diving past the post. And every time a goal goes in, the immediate thought is this a good goal? Is it Onana? And a lot of the time it's somewhere in between and you go, well, I mean, Onana's not going to save it, but another keeper probably could. That's not going to go down as a mistake. So if you look at the stats, you go, oh, he's only made 6 mistakes this season or what have you. So we need a new goalkeeper. We really, really do. Having more goals in the team will bail some of those mistakes out, but they won't stop the mistakes. He's not going to stop making mistakes because he suddenly bought a striker. That's just not going to, that's not going to happen at all, is it? So yeah, we absolutely need a new keeper. No doubt about it. Tabrez says, like something out of Wolf of Wall Street. F Deezy Deezy says, what that should have said is almost 1,500 watching and less than 500 likes. Do better, people. Right, you came back. You didn't have to come back with another super chat. I would have picked it up in the chat, but I appreciate the contribution once again. And right, you're right. We're only 10 likes away. Only 10 likes away. Now 9 from 500 likes on a solo show this morning, which is great for a Friday. Are you one of those people that do you have sort of Friday energy because it's the end of the week, or do you have that kind of just got to get through today, that kind of Friday energy? Because I'm both on that. Some Fridays I'm like, yes, weekend's ahead. I'm excited for the weekend. Right, the day's going to be good. I'm feeling good. You go into work all sort of chipper, and then some Fridays you're like, fuck. Immediately you're looking at the clock. You're just going, it will be 5:30 eventually, or it'll be 6 o'clock eventually. That's what it will be. But today I'm feeling quite good. Today I'm feeling quite energetic. Show says, do you know what comes after Friday, Owen? Saturday. Well, you're right. And on Saturday I'll be live on my channel, Owen Wrestling News 365. I'm sure someone will put a link in the chat. There's also a link in the video description. You can scan the QR code when it appears on the sidebar. I'll be live for Night of Champions. I'll also be live tonight on my channel. I believe the stream's actually already up. I'm going into my Dr. Andre voice. Okay? You can go over there. You can subscribe to the channel. Okay? We're nearly at 23,000 subscribers. I think we're actually less than sort of 250 away. Okay? From 23,000, yeah. And the aim is to get to 25k in 2025. That's the objective. And shout out to James, he got to 30k last week. I think KG. What's KG on at the moment? YouTube. KG's Reckless Sports. I know he's getting close. He's on 49.4k. So that's what, about 600-ish? Probably under that. Probably under 600 to go. So if you haven't already, make sure you go subscribe to KG Reckless Sport as well. And Talamu sent you. Yeah. I think I'm caught up with all of the super chats. Indeed, I am. Reminder, you can see there, today we'll be live once again, 4 p.m. Flex, KG, myself, for another episode of The Trinity. I think, I want to say, maybe I'm wrong here. Maybe this is just a filthy mind. I think today's episode 69. Of The Trinity. I might be wrong. But I think. I think maybe it might be. So no giggling. I know you guys are very mature in the chat, and you don't do the whole pause thing. As Flex said yesterday, I know you won't be laughing your ass out loud or whatever he said. That was it, wasn't it? Laugh your ass out loud, I think it was. So I'm expecting a lot of maturity. I'm expecting a lot of you. I know you'll be very sensible. I know Amanor won't say anything because he's very sensible. Definitely not raunchy. So you'll all be joining us then. Yeah, be a good show. Not lots of sensible. So it's always sensible. Big up to everyone. Appreciate everyone for tuning in. As always, we ended up over 500 likes, which is fantastic. Yes, we'll be back later on, of course, with the Trinity. And if anything happens in between, then we'll also be back as well for more coverage of that. I'm out of here. Peace.